Hey, welcome back everyone. Welcome to the new viewers as well, here for the second episode of That's That Folks. We have a nice crowd in tonight, the audience is filling up nicely, and there's still a few people outside, I'm told, just waiting to come in. First up, we have Mullingar filmmaker Cathal Nally to discuss his new movie, Be Good or Be Gone, and we'll also be asking him the really important questions about Aldi and Lidl, tea, and whatever else springs to mind. Cathal, what's your favourite movie?
A big question, it's a loaded question. If I had to pick a movie, I'd be here all day, but what comes to mind straight away would be, say, Wild Bunch or Cross of Iron by Sam Peckinpah.
Only the epic camera of Sam Peckinpah could do justice to its theme.
I really liked those movies when I was growing up. Probably shouldn't have seen them as a child, but, you know, they influenced me to some degree.
Oh, two Stonewall classics there, called Stonewall classics. Well, on a similar note, if you were to spend a week hiking with a famous movie director, who would the director be?
I couldn't picture myself hiking with any director, but if I was to pick one, it would definitely be Sam, actually, himself. But we wouldn't be hiking. If we were hiking, we'd probably hike to the nearest bar, and he might get into an argument with somebody and pull a gun on them. That's just the kind of guy he was. So that's definitely someone I would love to have met.
Are you an Aldi or a Lidl man?
Aldi all the way. Definitely. I very rarely go into Lidl. My parents go to Lidl a lot. I don't know why they go there. I keep telling them to go to Aldi. I go to Aldi.
I see you're sipping a brew there. Any tips on making a nice cup of tea?
This is regular tea, but if I was to make a cup of tea, like my own personal kind of cup of tea, this would be something I would drink in the evening time. I like a Bergamot Martini, which is basically gin, and it's infused with Earl Grey.
Tea? Earl Grey, hot.
Of course it's hot. What do you want in it?
Nothing.
Infuse it for about 30 minutes. Take it out, you add it to a cocktail shaker, add a couple of drops of orange bitters, and then you just shake it with ice. Strain it out, serve it with not an orange slice, like an orange rind or an orange twist, and that's it. You know, obviously it's infused with, you know, Earl Grey, so it's very tea-ish, if you know what I mean. That's what I like to drink in the evening time.
Your request for temporary release has been granted. Oh, lads, be good.
What are you doing here, Steve?
All I'm after is a chance to put things right. That's all.
You're too late, Steve.
Make it work.
You think I can? Of course you can. I wish I was as sure about anything as you are about everything.
All about attitude, isn't it?
So Be Good or Be Gone has been released, and it's got some good reviews as well. How does it feel?
This was kind of a labour of love. It went on for many years, like 6 years. I think I was involved in this film until we got it out there. Independently made, wasn't supported by, you know, arts councils or Screen Ireland or anything like that. This was something we made ourselves, and it's great to see it finally out there in the world. It's just done a full year from the film festival circuit, and so it took us, like, I think from the time I got involved with the film until it was finished, that was about 4 years. And then I kind of was languishing for a little while, you know, waiting to be released, and then we finally went through the festival circuit. Did that for 12 months, and now it's actually out there on digital platforms all over the place. iTunes and Apple, and here in Ireland and in the US it's on everything from Amazon to Google Play to iTunes to Fandango to, you know, and it's also on cable and satellite channels over there. Things I never even heard of. So, because we have a US distributor, so it's great that it's out there. People are getting to see it. I'm getting good feedback here and there. There seems to be every day someone seems to be getting in touch and going, "Oh my God, you know, I saw your film," or "I saw your movie pop up," or whatever, you know. And it's unusual, you know, living in this pandemic period where no one can actually go to a cinema to actually watch it. It's a long journey to get this film made, and we're just delighted we got it out there, because we had to do it with our spare change. If you know what I mean, we had no money for this, but it doesn't come off that way with the film. We spend a lot of time on it, so the production quality is very high, and it does surprise people when they do see it.
You're not still knocking around with that prick, man.
He's me cousin, man, you know.
You have to have a focus, man.
Yours would be
Street clothes.
fashion.
Fashion, exactly, yeah.
You reckon even with the stripe they go with me chains now, yeah?
Absolutely.
Where's the weed fella? Don't tell me. Out mooching for one final score, I suppose, yeah?
He rides on without that lad. I want to know where he is.
Did really well on the festival circuit, won plenty of awards in the US. We kind of got attention over there in the US first before it came to Ireland. You know what I mean? And then when they saw that we were picking up awards over there at Garden State in New Jersey and Sherman Oaks in Los Angeles, and then up there in Canada as well, I think people over here thought, maybe there's something to it. It was good to finish it at the Dublin Festival because it's a Dublin movie and it's perfectly suitable for that festival, and especially other filmmakers that were working on the film, Les Martin, the co-writer and star and producer, really it's his baby. Him and Declan Mills played the two leads. For them, from the very beginning, it was really important to get it into the Dublin Festival, if you know what I mean. So to end with that festival after the run that we had was just perfect. It was a cherry on the top, With
all this publicity, I'd say your BlackBerry and your phone are dialing off the hook.
Yeah, my Huawei has basically blown up. Don't have a BlackBerry, so at the moment, I think there is a feature film that I'm actually in development with for the last 2 months. I think it's in development at the moment, and it's a drama as well. It's kind of a harrowing kind of piece. It's not going to be made in Ireland. It's going to be made abroad. It's not set here. It's set in another country. So I have to try and find some development funds for that and a producer on board and stuff like that.
Any words of advice, Cathal, for people out there who may be thinking about getting involved in filmmaking?
First thing I would say to them, if they want to be in, working independent film and stuff like that here in Ireland, I would say, oh yeah, but you obviously, I'd say, of the underground cinema, and they go, huh? I go, well, there's a underground cinema festival. It's a monthly thing. They do monthly screenings. It's based in Dunleary, but it's online now because of the pandemic. It's run by a great guy named Dave Byrne and his partner Karen. If you're a student and you want to get into independent filmmaking, look it up. They do monthly screenings every month. If you've made a film, even if it's a student movie, send it in. There's a good chance your film will be screened. Some filmmakers think, or some students think they will. They think, oh, I can make this movie. I know how to do it now because I did my course in college and stuff like that. It's just not the reality of the situation. You have to get out there and work on other people's films, but see other people's films, and there's loads of independent filmmakers in the country. There's tons of them, and they're all doing shorts and things like that, and just to see what they're up to, and get some work with them.
That's great, Cathal. And now we're going to explore the world of board games.
On the game.
Today I'm going to talk about some of the board games that I've been playing over the past 6 months. Start off with Escape the Dark Castle. This one really reminded me of that early Hero Quest kind of, barbarians and goblins and monsters, that kind of aesthetic. It was a great one to get me started on because at the end of the day it really is just about kind of rolling your dice. It's very straightforward to set up. It's just a card-based game. There's no board, but very atmospheric, and in a nice hipstery move you can get the soundtrack on vinyl. So what we do when we're playing it here is we'll pop the soundtrack on, we don't actually have the vinyl, we'll pop the soundtrack on YouTube in the background. It just helps you kind of lose yourself in the world. So, dice. So that was the first one that got the dice rolling instead of the ball rolling for me. It was Escape the Dark Castle. Next up on the list is the Bloody Inn. The premise of the Bloody Inn, you're an innkeeper and your job is to kill as many people as you can who stay in your inn. You can strike deals with people, you can bribe guests, you have to hide from the long arm of the law. Like most of these games, it does take a while to learn the rules, and a lot of people can be put off to that because I know in today's world people are just programmed to look at IGTV and Facebook video streams and stories for maybe 3 seconds, so it does take a little bit of brain training for people who aren't used to using their brains in times of relaxation. And I can say thankfully that this one, it was a game that at the start I was intimidated big time by how to play.
Annex, why would
Why would I pay someone off to hide a body under the table? I just wouldn't kill them in the first place if I knew there was going to be police staying there. It doesn't make any sense to me.
But after a few goes, I loved it. Next up, Museum Rush. You build a little museum out of the cards that are inside. So you build up your ballocks. Tiles, thanks. You build up your platform, you get a deck of cards that are the tiles, and you build the tiles into the various shapes for a lot of different museums. And the aim of the game is simple. You actually get little caricatures, little figurines in this, which I like too. As someone who used to collect toys and still does, you have to steal priceless works of art from the museum, and the security guards and the security system has to chase you. So this one, I class this as a family game, fun for all the family, and one that I got my head around pretty quickly. Now, the big complex monster, that's the one we're going to have the deep dive look at. Oh, such a big complex monster, I need two hands. Ugh! Mage Knight. And this is a board game. So, join me again, same time, same back channel, for That's That Folks. I'll be guesting next week to talk all about the Mage Knight.
That's great. The Mage Knight's supposed to be a really good game. Look forward to that. Now, from the Mage Knight to a man who knows all about late nights. Yep, DJ Blasket's Shark with more tales of vinyl.
I'm here today to talk about vinyl. We used to roll up spliffs on vinyl. You put vinyl down, inside protective cover, of course. You don't mistreat vinyl with big dirty paws and hands and paws and hands and vinyl. Oh, I'm here today to tell you about big bloody spliffs we roll on vinyl. Great if you're just sitting down, your knees are a bit shaky at 4 or 5 in the morning. You sit down, you put your Rizzler there, and you put your tobacco, and you put your little bit of greenery in there, or your little bit of black plastic, what we used to smoke back in the days. Oh, I remember once we went to a rave in a monastery.
And now a new segment of the show, DJ Stories. This week, Dublin-based producer Degree will talk us through the inspiration behind one of his forthcoming releases.
Track you're hearing there in the background is a track called Serda, which is forthcoming on Dark Void Recordings later on this year. I've been to Barcelona quite a few times. One time I went to visit a friend of mine named Pau, who was a security guard in the Museum of Modern Art. They had an exhibition there about a guy called Alfonso Serda, who's an architect in the end of the 19th century, and he designed what's called, the example. So this is basically the street layout for Barcelona, the way it's all laid out in the grid. But the thing is, all on the corners of all the grid, it's like an oblong. So you have this kind of public space. It's the 19th century, so, like giving people public spaces and all this is not absolutely paramount in most people's minds, so he was kind of considered, I suppose, a political or social reformer to a certain extent. But I found it quite inspiring. So then when I was doing the tune anyway, it was, I don't know, quite a fairly positive sounding tune, I thought, you know what I mean? So I thought, why not infuse it with some positive social, social reform.
Thanks for that, Degree. A very interesting insight into your creative process for producing music. Well, that's the end of the show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you again next week for more of the same.